slamming into the poor guy. It was, you know, he's in the wheelchair, he's unconscious, and he's just getting slammed into. And it wasn't funny in the moment. It was kind of sad. And, you know, metal fans pride themselves on being like, well, we take care of our own. We take care of each other in the pit. When someone goes down, the golden rule is you help them up. Okay, so now let me tell you what it's like to see Cannibal Corpse live. If you haven't seen them already, which, if you're a metal fan, you should see them. You should have already seen them by now. If you're a metal fan and you haven't already seen Cannibal Corpse, then it's like, what are you doing, you know? You gotta go see them. They're like the most famous death metal band, you know, every metal fan pretty much knows who Cannibal Corpse is, right? Even people who aren't metal fans know, because they were in that Ace Ventura movie with Jim Carrey. You know, Cannibal Corpse makes an appearance in one of those movies, so that movie kind of introduced death metal to the normies, and that band was Cannibal Corpse, right? So a lot of people know who Cannibal Corpse is, and people, I guess, have a problem with this or whatever. You know, they'll say like, oh, well, Cannibal Corpse isn't the best death metal band, and what does that even mean, the best death metal band? Who cares? Cannibal Corpse is the biggest death metal band, and they're awesome, and they played at Red Rocks, and that is awesome. What are we complaining about here? What is there? Why complain that Cannibal Corpse is a famous death metal band? Who cares? Anyway, if you haven't heard their music, to kind of describe what the music's like, it's like you're driving in your car, and you're getting on the on-ramp to get on the highway, you're accelerating, you're going fast, you're going up this ramp to get onto the highway, and you hear a chainsaw rev up in the back seat, and you look, and it's Leatherface from the f***ing Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And what are you gonna do? You're driving. Oh, are you gonna jump out of the car? No. And while you're thinking about what to do, he's already stabbing you with the chainsaw. You lose control of the wheel. You fly off of the bridge. You ram into a wall. And as you lay there in agony, in the smoldering wreckage, with your entrails hanging out, bleeding to death, he's there. He's still there. He's still coming after you. And he starts eating and or you in the ass. And now imagine there's this group of people who think that this sounds like a fun activity to be a part of. Let's get together and go and see this music performed live. Now, does that sound like fun to you? Because you're damn right it is. It's so much fun. They've got this very charismatic frontman. His name is Corpsegrinder, and he collects Beanie Babies. And he really knows, he has a way with the crowd. He knows how to work the crowd with his endearing stage banter.
I'll beat you to death and throw you in the sewers, alright?
I'll never forget the first time that I saw Cannibal Corpse live. It was at a pool party in Las Vegas. And he challenged the audience to a headbanging competition. He said, I am the f***ing headbanging king. This song is called I Come Blood. And this guy proceeded to spin his head in a circle for like 7 minutes. I tried. I really tried. I thought I'd be able to hold my own. I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'll try to beat him in a headbanging competition. Couldn't do it. I tapped out, and he was still just spinning his hair around in like a perfect circle while the song played. It was awesome. He really is the headbanging king. And it's no wonder that he won this headbanging competition, because his neck is so massive. It's a meme how big his neck is. His neck is so huge that if he were stranded in the wilderness he could survive for days eating the meat off of his own neck. That's how big it is, okay? It's such chaotic fun, you know? You see people crowd surfing and stage diving and moshing their asses off, and people are drinking and smoking weed, and women are getting punched in the face. It's glorious. And I saw people getting rolled out in wheelchairs in this mosh pit. And now I've got to go on a little bit of a tangent here. It will tie into a story about seeing Cannibal Corpse live, but ever since the Travis Scott tragedy, you know, where people died in the audience at one of his shows because of crowd crush, you know, there's kind of a greater awareness and a greater sensitivity amongst audiences where when somebody goes down, you know, they get knocked out or they fall or there's some kind of like medical situation going on. There's kind of a greater awareness that like, hey, we need to get this person medical attention. We need to make sure that this person doesn't die in the mosh pit, right? What people think that they need to do is that they think, oh, somebody went down. We need to get the band's attention and get the band to stop playing so that we can get this person medical attention. And they'll shine their flashlight toward the band and they'll jump up and down and they'll say, hey, stop the show, somebody's hurt, you know? And that's, you know, I know it's a nice thing to try to do. It's coming from, you know, they've got good intentions, but it's just not the most efficient, effective way to get the person help because the band does not know why you're shining a light at them. They can't hear what you're saying. They're focused on the performance and they can't really be aware of everything that's going on in the audience. What you need to do is you need to get security. You need to get security because they will know where a medic is. If it's a big show, there's going to be medics on site and security will know where they are and how to get them in there effectively. And so there's always going to be a security presence at the stage barricade, and there's always going to be security presence at the entrance. So whichever one you can get to faster, either you run to the entrance or you run to the barricade, you know, you need to get security's attention, let them know somebody's gone down, somebody needs medical assistance, and they'll be able to get a medic in there to help the person way faster. You can do that way faster than you can get the band to stop playing. This happened at a Cannibal Corpse show. Somebody crumpled up and fell to the ground unconscious. And people started shining their lights at the stage. They're trying to get the band's attention to stop the show. And I sprang to action. I ran straight to the entrance. I got security. I said, hey, there's somebody in the pit that's unconscious. They need help. We went and got a medic. The medic pulled out a wheelchair. We rolled the wheelchair into the pit. You know, I kind of helped with crowd control to get the wheelchair through to where it needed to go. The venue should probably pay me, by the way, for helping with security that night. And, you know, I'm not saying that I'm a hero, but if you want to call me a hero, I think that would be an accurate description of, you know, what I did that night. You can call me a hero for that. I won't correct you, because it doesn't need to be corrected. But anyway, they got the guy on the wheelchair, and people were still moshing and slamming into the poor guy. It was, you know, he's in the wheelchair, he's unconscious, and he's just getting slammed into. And as a real thing that happened, you know, it wasn't funny in the moment. It was kind of sad. And, you know, metal fans pride themselves on being like, well, we take care of our own. We take care of each other in the pit. When someone goes down, the golden rule is you help them up. And you know what? This show, I have to say, someone getting loaded up into a wheelchair and security telling people to back off, and, you know, that didn't stop people from moshing. They were still slamming into the guy. I was having to try to keep people away from him, and, you know, as something that really happened, it's not funny, but looking back on it and describing it, you know, or talking about it as if it were a scene in a movie, It's kind of hilarious. It's kind of hilarious that this guy got knocked out in the pit. He's in a wheelchair. We're trying to cart him off, and people are still, they can't stop moshing. They're still fucking slamming into him while he's unconscious in a wheelchair. You know, it's not funny as a real, you know, it's not funny that this really happened, but describing it, it does kind of paint a funny picture. All that said, it's awesome seeing Cannibal Corpse and pretty much everything that people are afraid of when it comes to seeing a metal concert. You know, every fear that comes into a parent's mind when they're like, oh, should I let my kid go to this metal concert? All that stuff that they're afraid of, it's at a Cannibal Corpse show. All that stuff is going on there. And it's really, really fun. I had a blast going there the first time, and it's kept me coming back time and time again. I've seen them many times, and I have a good time every time, and I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna see them again. And you should too. If you haven't already, you gotta. All right, go see Cannibal Corpse live.